I was working on The Simpsons by day, but I used my own money. I maxed out every credit card I could get, and I funded this really expensive, ambitious short film. It was like a 2 or 3 year massive undertaking that nearly killed me. I had to do that in order to like learn. I got a pilot deal, got me agents, it got me meetings with other producers, but man, it was a great experience. I'd say after about 5 years on The Simpsons of just loving every minute of it and absorbing all this information and pinching myself every day that I was working on my favorite show. So after about 5 years, that I kind of got that itch that, okay, I feel like now I have like a good handle on this. I want to do my own show. I want to be the Matt Groening. So I began developing my own idea for a show. And I did what I would recommend anybody does who's trying to break out from just not that there's anything wrong with just being a storyboard artist on a show, but if you want to be a creator, no one's going to hand you that opportunity. You have to make something. So I decided to make a short film. I made a really ambitious short film. I decided to make a kind of a hybrid live action animated short. It's called Save Virgil. It's on YouTube. It's very, very dirty. But this short film was essentially a pilot for a show I wanted to make about a cartoon kid that's born in the real world. And I made this short film. It was like a 10-15 minute film it turned out to be extremely ambitious and extremely expensive, but man, it was a great experience. I was working on The Simpsons by day, but I used my own money. I maxed out every credit card I could get, and I funded this really expensive, ambitious short film where first we shot the live action, but I had everything storyboarded for the cartoon characters. And then I went through and I got whoever I could from The Simpsons to help me pose, do all the key animation. And then I physically took all my key animation to Korea, and I found this like really small studio. I got them to do the animation really cheap, and I stayed out there and I worked with them for a couple months. And then we composited that all onto the live action, and then we have the finished movie. I'm making it sound really easy, but it was like a 2 or 3 year massive undertaking that nearly killed me. It was so crazy.
I wanted to give a shout out to 21 Draw. If you don't know, 21 Draw offers online courses and books on how to be a better artist for students at all skill levels. And all their courses are taught by some of the best artists in the world. You can take classes on character design, animation, background design, even promoting your stuff on social media. It's fantastic. Check out 21 Draw with the link below to help support the channel.
I learned so much, and I had to do that in order to like learn the whole process. Like when you work as a storyboard artist or an animator, that's just one small part of the big picture. But when you make your own film, you learn it all. And so it was a great experience, and it did exactly what I was hoping it would do. Is it got me some attention as someone with a vision as a director. And I got a pilot deal to make this Save Virgil as a TV show. It never ended up going to series, but it got me in the door. It got me agents, it got me meetings with other producers. And this one producer named Mike Clements, who is one of many, producers I met. I first, got into that development. He's the one who hired me to develop Good Vibes. And Good Vibes was actually an idea that him and I had together. We were making pilots, a whole bunch of pilots, some that were our ideas, some that were his ideas, some that were writer ideas. And then eventually we pitched Good Vibes, and it got picked up. My dream came true. I got my own show. An incredible experience. It was really hard. I learned really quickly the difference between, the resources that The Simpsons has versus a budget cable show. And, it was a lot of work, but it was a labor of love. We were really proud of what we did. As we were making it, we were all so confident in, with the writing and the voice cast and the animation. It all was coming together so beautifully that we were so confident that this was going to be my Simpsons. And so I pulled so many all-nighters. I didn't care. I was like, I have to lay the foundation for this show that's going to be my legacy. And what ended up happening is it was pretty much canceled before it ever even aired. There was a bunch of politics that were outside of our control with MTV and with some of the shows that we were paired with. they aired, but like they got no promotion whatsoever, so no one even knew they existed pretty much. And so this opportunity of a lifetime, that as exciting as it was also like devastating. But again, it got these experiences, just like they give you so much more experience and you learn things from them. And the biggest thing I learned from that lesson was the reason it didn't succeed really didn't have anything to do with us, but we weren't a cheap show. The look of the animation was pretty much like The Simpsons. It was like prime time level animation on a eighth of the budget that The Simpsons has. So when Mike Clements and I were like, we want to come up with another show, we learned that what if we figure out a way to do a show that it's so cheap and so simple and so fast that there's no risk, basically like South Park. So Our next show that we came up with, it was called the Legends of Chamberlain Heights. It was about these like freshman basketball players who are like bench warmers. And it was really fun. And if you look at it, it's like the polar opposite of Good Vibes. It's like the South Park, super simple. But that was a really cool experience too, just like challenging myself to figure out how to make a show hopefully as visually interesting and even to some extent dynamic, that's super flat and simple, almost like Charlie Brown comics. So that was kind of like the mission statement, is just like keep everything like peanuts, but try and still make it as dynamic and interesting as like The Simpsons.
Now, does that visual stuff go into the pitch, or is that just kind of more for you?
Both. The pitch, that's a big secret to, I think, the success like Clements and I have had is so many people pitch and they either come in with no art or maybe just a couple drawings. We always come in, we've pitched so many things over the years. We always come in with a little piece of content, not just a drawing or two, but a little animatic. Or in the case of Legends of Chamberlain Heights, we just straight up made a 5-minute little, presentation. We were literally showing them what you're going to get. This is what the show is going to look like. And it made it such a simple transaction. They were like, we like it. Like, yes. And so when we made the show, nothing changed. It was that. Usually when you pitch a show, it's like, this is, kind of a jumping off point. You guys will develop it and turn it into whatever it is. But it's really powerful to come in with something that's hopefully, if it's good, fully realized, so that it takes all the thinking out of it. The people on the buying side can be like, yeah, like I like it. Let's just make that. Yeah. So that was what we did with Legends, and it worked out pretty well. Like the way I ended up on the Minions was totally by accident. I remember my first day on the Minions, I was so excited. All right, well, here we go. We're making Minions 2. Like, where's the script? And they all laughed at me.
This is Brad Abelson, an animation director who is absolutely crushing it in the animation industry. From storyboarding over 150 episodes of The Simpsons to co-directing The Minions 2, a near billion-dollar box office smash hit, Brad has mastered the art of animated comedy. In a highly competitive industry, Brad has built a career on making audiences laugh. With all of his success, it's crazy to think he got his first job on The Simpsons as a teenager.
I got the job on The Simpsons when I was 19 years old, and I couldn't freaking believe it.
This guy is legit.
I'm on the greatest show in the history of television, and I'm allowed to do whatever the hell I want. But if you want to be a creator, no one's going to hand you that opportunity. You have to make something.
In this interview, you'll learn the secret to Simpsons comedy.
Often comedy is clarity. Okay, here's a good example.
How he maxed out his credit cards to make a film and eventually got his own show on MTV.
My dream came true. I got my own show.
How he accidentally became a director on The Minions.
I got a call from Chris Meledandri, and I thought it was like a mistake. Me, like, I've never worked in features. I've never worked in like family entertainment. I've never worked in CG.
Keep watching, because at the end, he'll give some inspiring tips on how to pitch your own shows, how to storyboard.
When I'm looking at a storyboarder, I'm always looking for, and that's the hardest thing.
And even drops a shocking storyboard portfolio hot take that you might not expect.
Believe it or not, really good artists are a dime a dozen. Really good action storyboard artists are a dime a dozen. Really good storyboard artists are really hard to find.